Some people are low status despite having money. Some of you might be communicating the wrong things without even knowing it, so stick around because here are 15 low status behaviors. Welcome to Alux, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. First up, verbal or physical abuse of a partner or family. That's your partner, parents, or child. They're yours. They're the ones who love you more than anyone else, and yet you treat them this poorly? It's like keying your own car. If this is how you treat people you're supposed to be putting on a pedestal, nobody can trust you to treat them any better. The quality of your life boils down to the core of your inner circle relationships. How you treat them is as good as it gets, and people notice it, no matter how hard you try to hide it. Blocking a lane by leaving your car with the hazard lights on so you can run into a store. You've seen these people before. They're the ambulance chasers, the park on the crosswalk or on the grass. They bring their car literally to the beach and more, and unfortunately, it's usually an older BMW. They showcase a blatant disregard for anyone else. It doesn't matter how expensive your car is if you're an inconvenience to others. And these are the same people who love to brake test you, and they get out of the car to scream. They have all the time in the world because, well, they're usually unemployed, but always have something going on the side. Going out with a cold and sneezing openly. You don't know just how bad it is until someone literally sneezes onto you, which implies they were already in your personal space. These two combined are the primary reason newer generations don't want to go out in public. Isn't it ironic how calling in sick is something you used to do as an excuse to not go to work, when calling in sick should be the standard for, I'll be working from home today because I have a cold and I'm considerate about your well-being. If you've got something, don't share it around. Funny how this point ended up not being about a cold in the end, am I right? Not dressing weather appropriate. People will look down on you because it signals two things. 1, you lack the awareness to realize you're dressed inappropriately, or 2, you lack the funds to acquire proper clothes. Boys, if it's snowing outside and we can see your ankles, you're doing it wrong. Ladies, we shouldn't be able to see your underwear unless it's like that time in the date. Laughing at people trying to better themselves. Why would you laugh at someone working hard? Why would you treat staff poorly? How could you laugh at someone who's working at something that will lead them to a better life? You don't know their story, okay? You don't know their struggle. They didn't have it as easy growing up as you did, you entitled prick. How dare you laugh at someone reading a self-development book when you can barely read? How dare you put someone down who's trying to start a small business when your parents paid for your car? The kid who bought a Toyota out of their own money is far more successful than the one driving a Range Rover their parents paid for. Not everyone is fortunate enough to be born into a wealthy family that opens up doors and pays for high-level education, which is why our content is free here on YouTube and why the Alux app only costs $99 a year. If everyone has access to the same premium education, there's nothing stopping them from outperforming you in the long run. If you want to learn everything school hasn't taught you, especially about money, go to Alux.com/app and get yourself a yearly subscription. There is a time-sensitive offer this weekend. Casual, disgusting behaviors. Yeah, okay, get ready because we're going there, all right? You fart in front of people and then you laugh afterward. You pick your nose in public and then play with your newfound treasure. You pull food out of your teeth with your fingernail, sniff it, and then eat it. You spit on the ground. You check your body odor with your hand after you scratch an itch. The fact that people in India don't buy deodorant and you can still casually see people defecating on the street is why so much of the world still sees them as low class. Smoking and vaping and blowing smoke that's been inside of your body into another person's face, not even washing your hands in a public bathroom, just gives people the ick. Then there's littering. Pretty simple, right? You throw garbage where the garbage shouldn't be thrown, then you are garbage. And before you say that someone else is paid to clean up after you, in common spaces, you have lower status than the garbage you couldn't find the power to properly dispose of. Take a moment to think about it, okay? If every person cleaned up after themselves, everything would be clean. The fact it isn't this way shows you just how lazy most people are. On an individual level, the absolute worst are the people who throw garbage out of a car window, followed closely by those who go out into nature and leave their garbage there. Graffiti or tagging your nickname on walls. You can count on one hand the number of instances where graffiti has beautified an area. Because look, okay, murals and real art are completely different from your lame nickname or whatever this is. Let's be honest, okay? You're not Banksy, Osjemiusz, Lee, or Alec. Here's the thing. If your touch doesn't increase the value of your canvas, you shouldn't do it. Tagging walls is just another form of littering. You're not creating any positive value. Instead, you're just being visually messy. Not to mention vandalism. People who swear unnecessarily, the way you talk. Some people just can't seem to be able to go out and buy bread without dropping the F-bomb every 12 words. To others, it signals a lack of vocabulary or an inability to control what comes out of your mouth. It's the same with people who say things like, "You feel me?" or "You know what I'm saying?" Another low-class behavior is when the way you speak doesn't match your background or ethnicity. We're looking at you, Canadians, with whatever accent this is.
And what I don't like is if the business is true, that you left your moms in the hood, somebody go smoke that youth.
How they would do anything for money. We know, okay, $50 is $50, but maybe you should have a little more respect for yourself. Sometimes the money is just too expensive. You've met people like this before. If you offered someone $5,000, they would get a tattoo of your name on their face? Girls who would go out with someone just because they have money, or men deploying so much time and effort to scam others out of their fortunes. We're looking at you, Sam Bankman-Fried. Some people would sell their soul for money. Some people would do anything for money except the one thing that would lead them to earning it legally and plentifully. Just because you currently don't have any skills doesn't mean you can't acquire them, and it's no longer that expensive. We've built our courses to specifically address this problem. Based on the feedback we got from our students, these should have been at least $2,000 each, but we want as many people as possible to be able to afford them. So here's the only discount we do throughout the year. If you go to Alux.com/Black Friday right now, you'll find a $2,000 bundle for all of our courses. But if you use the secret promo code High Status at checkout, you can get our entire lineup of flagship courses for only $9.99. We're running this promotion until the end of Cyber Monday, so you're about to miss out. Get to it. Being loud with the sole purpose of causing drama. Society will immediately label you as low status if you're loud in public places. If you speak loudly in order for other people to hear you in your conversation. As is almost always the case, increasing the volume does not improve the argument, nor does tilting your head while you speak, or clapping for that matter. Having calls on speaker or listening to music loudly. We feel like these are the same people who listen to music loudly with the windows down. They're the folks with the cheap Bluetooth speaker cranked all the way up to 100 anywhere in public, on the beach, on hikes, or on public transport. The fact that your private affairs aren't private makes people think of you as low status, not to mention the, once again, complete disregard for other people. Having multiple baby mamas or baby daddies. We're going there, okay? If you keep spreading your legs and not using protection with that many people, that's a discussion only you can have. But if you get pregnant by different people and they're not around, you know it's not right, right? The same way it reads as being broke trying to skip paying child support to 3 different women because, and we quote, "she a baddie," and you wanted that last stroke knowing full well that pull-out game of yours is weak. It boils down to self-control. The more you lack it, the lower status people perceive you to be. Cutting in front of other people. This happens regularly to people waiting in line, but even more waiting in traffic. There are some unspoken rules and some actually legally required to follow rules that work together to keep a well-functioning society. Since these people failed their driver's test multiple times before they got their permit, they might not know how lines work. You've seen those people using the emergency lane on the highway to avoid staying in traffic. These people are the reason why it takes twice as long for an ambulance to reach you in case of emergency than it should normally. Don't be like that, okay? Ghosting or interrupting people. If you're having a conversation, follow the protocol, okay? Beginning, middle, and end. Be concise, communicate effectively, don't open your mouth just to hear yourself speak. A growing problem is that of ghosting, which is the digital version of slamming a door into someone's face, especially if they're waiting for an input from you. You know we're keeping it honest here at Alux, so we want to know, what other low-status behaviors have you witnessed? Let us know in the comments. And as a sign of thanks for watching this Sunday video until the very end, here's your bonus. Only low-status people tell others about their high status. It's one of the unspoken rules of the world. In order to build a reputation, people have to figure it out on their own. That's why you see these videos of influencers screaming at other people about how important they are, and nobody feels the same. Social media has diluted our understanding of worth, where everyone thinks they're a celebrity because everything is measured through likes. Both valuable insights and booty pics are reacted to through likes, so in a sense it's an apples-to-apples comparison that lacks the fundamental distinctions between two categories. It should be apples to oranges. You win the game of status when you no longer feel the need to play status games. You win when you stop doing the things we mentioned on this list out of your understanding for the key role you play in society, not just because we mentioned them here. Hopefully, some of you will see the value in what we've just said. If you did make it to this point in the video, we have a separate question for you. Should we do a video on high status behaviors, or is that too much? If yes, write the word high in the comments. If enough of you do it, we'll start working on the video. Until next time, my friend, take care.